Alright guys, for this video, we're going to find the slope of a line, but a little bit different than the last one is we're not giving the graph of the line, we're actually giving the ordered pair of 2 points. So remember, that's all we need are 2 points to find the slope of any line. Now here's the main thing. I know we said slope in the last case was rise over run. Well, if we have 2 ordered pairs, and I'm going to denote these ordered pairs as this. X sub 1, Y sub 1 is the first point. X sub 2, Y sub 2 is the second point. This is the formula that we're going to use to find the slope. And you basically just subtract your Y values and you divide it by the subtraction of the X values. Kind of makes sense because, remember, rise over run, well, rise, you're going up or down. That deals with these Y values. And run, you go left or right, so that deals with these X values. So this is just the algebraic way of doing the same thing, finding the slope. So doing rise over run. All right, so if I look at 7, they're giving me negative 18.3 and negative 15.15. They lie on a line. I want to find the slope. Now, you could graph it and count the rise and the run, but it's going to take too long. So we're going to use this formula right here. Now, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to represent these points as x sub 1, y sub 1, and then x sub 2, y sub 2. So I'll make this a little bit bigger here. All right, so let's say the first point, I'm going to say this negative 18 is x sub 1, this 3 is y sub 1. That's the first point. I'm going to make negative 15 x sub 2 and positive 15 y sub 2. And I'm just going to use that formula. So I'm going to, I'm looking at this right here, the top. So I'm going to do y sub 2 minus y sub 1. I'm going to subtract the y values, which is 15 and 3. So I'm going to do 15 minus 3. And then since I started, here's kind of the key. Since I started with this for the top, I have to start with this one for the bottom. So the bottom, I'm going to do negative 15 minus this negative 18. So I have negative 15 minus this other x value of negative 18. So you can see I have a double negative there. Well, if I evaluate this, 15 minus 3, that gives me 12. And then negative 15 minus negative 18 becomes a plus. So negative 15 plus 18 is, what, 3? And then if I divide that, well, 12 divided by 3, that's 4. And that can't simplify any further. So that's the slope of the line. So what that means is to get to any point on the line, you could go up 4 to the right 1. Because remember, 4 is the same thing as saying 4 over 1. All right, let's skip to number 10. I'm going to do the same thing. And you know what I'm actually going to do for this one? I'm actually going to switch the order up a little bit. So I'm going to zoom it in. All right. Now this is another thing you could do. I'm going to put m equals. The top are the y values. So I'm going to circle the y values, which are 6 and negative 1. Now I don't always have to subtract this first y from the second. I could switch the order up, as long as I switch the order up for the bottom too, for the x's. So let's say I wanted to start with this one. So I could start off with 6 and do 6 minus this, the negative 1. Now, if I start with this 6 in the top, then that means I have to start with this negative 1 in the bottom. So in the bottom, that's negative 1 minus this negative 9. So I have negative 1 minus this negative 9. So here I have double negatives, right? 6 minus negative 1 is just like saying 6 plus 1, which is 7. And this negative 1 minus negative 9 is just like saying negative 1 plus 9. And negative 1 plus 9 is 8. And 7/8, that does not reduce. So that's my slope there, 7 over 8. So that means to get any point on that line, I would go up 7 to the right 8. All right, so if you don't have the graph of the line, if you have the ordered pairs for any 2 points on the line, you can use this little formula to get the slope.